Wealthy are proud that they don't work hard. And once you understand this, it changes how you frame your work with your boss. Because the working class value and belief is in the value of hard work, that it is virtuous and that it is good. But think about it. The whole point of wealth is to not have to work. And it's intimately tied to white supremacy. Because why would you need slaves if you were able and willing to do the work yourself? This is why very pale skin was a status symbol in Europe for a long time, because you weren't the sun working. Why manicured hands and not roughed hands are still important, because you're not working. It's all about maximizing the profit and doing as little work as possible and having enough wealth that you don't have to work. You just run and let your investments run. But this can only be done if you've convinced the working class that their value and their virtue is in busting their ass. And part of that is a coping mechanism for the working class as well. But the US also has this unique situation of we've never had a monarchy. Quite famously, that is how we started. And so we don't have the divine right of kings, that this is my leader that God appointed and so I have to serve them. We've had the worship of hard work and the belief that the people at the top are there because they busted their ass. And so that's why they tell us that they worked really hard to get what they deserve. But similar to a lot of other work situations where things are believed at face value and there's not evidence to back it up, like that coworker that says they run the team but they haven't really done anything, that's the illusion that is being sold. It is all branding and PR, which yes, other people are doing for them too, to justify the extraction of wealth off of your labor. So the more that you show that you are willing to bust your ass and work more and more and more they are always going to see you as a worker bee, as someone who's not like them, but who is in their place, doing what is of their status. So the more you do for them, with no raise, no promotion, nothing, the more it justifies in their minds that you are of your status, because you're supposed to be. And I'm not condoning it or saying it's right or even saying hard work is wrong. This is something I still wrestle with because I love what I do and I really get in my flow state doing what I'm doing. But if you are waiting for your boss, especially like if you're like middle management and your boss is pretty high up, maybe an executive, if you're waiting on them to recognize and promote you, there are still some tweaks to be had. Want to learn more about class and unwritten rules? Give me a follow. Check out my book that just came out. It's linked in bio. And if you want to work one-on-one together, how this applies to your situation, I am running a deal on my coaching. Check out the pinned video on what that encompasses. I have added so much to my coaching that is a huge value add. For the rest of January only, for a 50-minute session with me is $209. Unless you buy 3 or more sessions at once, then it's $180 per session. I trimmed the price down. That is going up to $247 for an a la carte session. Buy 3 or more, I believe it goes down to like $230 per session. The reason those costs are going up is because I have been working on such fabulous materials for the past several months. Once I finished my book, I completely shifted to improving my coaching even more. And I've developed what I'm calling coaching modules, which for every module, which will be priced at $597, but for January only is $457, focuses on a specific skill set, a specific issue, and solving a specific concern. You have 2 sessions with me, 2 video lessons, and worksheets to do before, during, and after our coaching sessions to really hone this skill. Modules cover how to move up without losing your authenticity, what part of the game do you play and what isn't worth it, how to create influence without being manipulative, learning how to be assertive but not too aggressive and navigating the stereotypes of that. So including, and this is taboo, how to respond to bullying from someone who is a marginalized person in a way that's appropriate and also doesn't make you a doormat. Haven't seen that anywhere else because it's controversial, but I'm doing it. To delegate without exploiting people, to deal with passive aggressive people, I'm calling it clapbacks that won't get you fired. Building a network that's reciprocal and not just one way where you're giving everything.